So if you guys want to apply, join the Discord, and we're gonna have people up. But before, I just need to make sure Suskitty's all good to go, and then go from there. Okay. So what we'll do is on my Discord there is a general chat, and I want you to tell me your story in the general chat or in the Twitch chat. So if you guys need life advice, just write it here or write it in the Twitch chat or write it in my Discord, and I'll have a read. Okay. I said I'm live now when I was doing my live, and he said, I said, I'm live now. He said, you help me a lot. I said, I can't see you because you're doing crack. Where are you? He said, I'm tactical pause. Ah, mano. But you can join the voice chat and then write it in the general chat, dude. Hello, hello.
Hello, coach.
How are you? How are you, buddy?
Fine, man. You?
I'm fantastic. So why don't we start off by talking a little bit about your life story and kind of where you're at right now, you know? What do you need help with, my friend?
My name is Noah. First, I have 21 years. My dad, he's military. He's Navy SEAL, something like that. And since too early in our life, we've been changing, like from state to state and city to city, and that shit. And I imagine that you as well, you changed it, like you moved to Korea, from Korea to Australia, right? So this is something that like mess with your mind. Okay, so I finished my high school. I studied in the military high school from police. I did a test to get into the school, and I passed and I finished my high school.
So you're in the
But
you're in the military school
yeah, I was in the military school.
and as an officer, as an officer.
No, no, no. I was only studying. I was student. Like you just study, like you have a military routine, but you don't are actually a military. Like my high school finished in the beginning of in early 2020, like when began all the pandemics shit. So I was living alone in a state called Tocantins, and I was living alone there. I was in the half of my last year school, and I needed to shut it. Like I needed to move. If I keep living in Tocantins in that time, I was going to like I will have nothing to eat because it was starting pandemics.
Can I ask you a
And
question?
yes,
So
yes,
your father is in the military.
yes.
You can't obviously talk details, but I'm curious, like what kind of rank is he? Is he quite high up in the military? What does he do in the military?
Let me search here. He was sergeant. I don't know, but
Sergeant, right,
yeah,
right.
he's
And how about
sergeant.
how about your mother?
My mother, she made cake. She
She's a
was
baker.
yes, yes, she's a baker.
And they're still together?
No, 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 no. They broke up in 2011, I guess.
What is your primary problem? It's that you don't know what to do with your life, or what do you think is your primary problem that you're struggling with right now?
We used to move a lot, so I didn't know what I liked. I got a little bit fragmented. When I finished high school, I was like, okay, I want to do computer science. I do the test, like here we call it
Mm-hmm.
NA test that you do to get approved in university. I passed, but I couldn't go,
Mm-hmm.
so because of money issues.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was a public university, but I needed to move to another place and I didn't have money. I was okay, so if I can do it, I will do something that is near to me. I did psychology. I go to a private psychology institution, and I've been like there for 6 months, but I dropped because of money again.
But
That's
can
what
I ask
I
you,
really like.
did you enjoy computer science and did you enjoy psychology?
Psychology, yes, but computer science, I've never like I liked to program, in Python and that shit, but it wasn't what I really liked. I want to help people. I don't see myself helping people by programming. So I did computer science, psychology. I did law school. I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
law school.
But
I'm
I
now
have a question. So law school costs money, right?
not too much in Brazil.
And psychology costs money? More?
Yes, yes.
More.
No, it's in same
As low?
price,
So my question is, you keep saying that you tried a bunch of these schools and you lacked money and you stopped. But it
Yes.
doesn't seem like that was a problem, because if you liked it, then you would wait until you have enough money and then go back to the same school, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
so why do you keep saying you lacked money? Because even if you lacked money, if you really enjoyed it, then you would go back and do it again, right?
Yes, yes. Of
So
course.
so you obviously didn't enjoy it enough to go back and study. Did you struggle
Actually,
academically? Like, what's the reason here?
no, I was pretty good academic. I even I did not a job, a project
Mm-hmm.
uh, related to sports psychology,
Mm-hmm.
and I even interviewed House from Kabul, and
Yeah.
Luciana from Loud, the
Mm-hmm.
psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked it, but I thought for myself, like, okay, maybe if I do this, I will not have money in the future. That was my thought at the moment. So I didn't have money in that time, and I thought that if I finish the university, I would end up with no money again.
So
I
you're
don't know why.
21 years old, right? 21, you said.
Yes, 21.
So then you went to law school for money, basically.
Yes, yes.
So
Like
why
I
why
just
did you have money issues? Your parents is not well off.
yes, yes. No,
But if your
no, no.
father's in the military and your mother's a baker, they should have enough money, no?
They don't have financial studies. They don't know how to organize their money.
Mm-hmm.
So even if he have a good salary, my father only, my mother no.
So how did you get to go to school in the first place?
With law school,
Yeah, all these schools. You went to psychology and law school.
psychology, I have some spare money that I gather with time, doing some jobs
What
here
kind
and
of
there.
and what kind of jobs have you been doing?
I'm teacher. I
Teaching
don't know
what?
how to say. I'm writing teacher. Writing.
So while you were not able to go to university, for example, when you couldn't go to computer science, you started
What?
teaching writing
Oh yes, exactly.
to save money, and
Yes.
saved money this way, and then went to school.
Yes.
But
exactly.
but what it sounds like to me is that you went to school and you ran out of money.
Yes. I had some help from my father during a moment, but I thought like, man, I don't want to be a parasite. So I just dropped it because I don't want to suck any money from them. So that's why I dropped the high school.
Not high school, you
That's
mean
that was-
college. You mean college.
Yes, college.
And now what are you doing?
Now I'm doing cybersecurity.
This is after law.
Yes, this after law school.
And did you drop law school because of money as well?
No, I was living in another state, and I didn't like the state, and I just dropped the school and came back home.
Did you like this class?
No. Law school was in that college. It was very very bad, so I just dropped.
How about cybersecurity? How do you find cybersecurity?
I think that's cool, but I don't see me doing it from 10 years on. I saw in your podcast that you said that you don't really love coaching. I guess I don't know if I got it wrong. I saw sometime a philosopher saying that when you do something that you don't want to do, it's there you find that you're a free person. You have liberty.
So you're struggling from finding your purpose.
Yes.
Okay, guys, let me just ask you guys a question in the chat and to you two. How many of you guys are 21, or like in your 20s? Between your 15 to 30 years old. Press 1 if you're 15 to 30, or type me, it doesn't matter. So the majority, if not all of you, know. Let me tell you guys something. When you're younger, this is the time in our lives where we're the most emotional, where we are the most connected, where we are the most free, and yet at the same time unfree from the burdens of life and finances. Between the ages of 15 and 30 is when people aren't settled down, the majority of us, and this is when we are the most emotional and kind of lacking, but also exploratory. Like we are daring, and we are also very we're new to life, and we haven't been fucked enough, basically, that we're not desensitized with the idea of working a 9 to 5. If you're in your mid 30s or in your 40s, you want financial stability and you want a 9 to 5. You're just tired of it all. I think what you're struggling with right now is a sense of identity, as you said. But I also think that you don't know what you love doing, or you don't know what you want to be doing with your life. And in that sense, I would say that I'm very unique, because something that I was really blessed with in my youth was, ever since I was like 3 years old, 2 years old, I'm not even kidding. I still remember, and my grandma spoke about this as well. My life purpose was to make the world a better place. That was my dream. My first dream was to be a president, because I wanted to change things. Of course, life came in and I realized I was too stupid, and etc, etc. But that life goal never changed. So in whatever method that I could, I tried to work towards being able to make an impact in the world in the best way possible. And the two best ways in the world to make the biggest impact is politics or money. So I started off in politics, and I actually worked in politics for 4 years. I was like a part of a political party. I won't talk about which and what I did, but I was also like doing campaigning and going door to door and all this kind of stuff. And then I realized that, you know, politics wasn't really for me. A lot of lies, a lot of deception, a lot of bullshit. So I went the other route, right? I enjoy coaching a lot, to be clear. I really love coaching, and I think that I'm making a difference to the people in my life in a positive way, but not as on a grand scale as I would like to, because I have a lot of ambition and I find a lot of happiness from helping a lot of people. That brings me joy in my life. But most people in the world don't know what they want to do in their life. Most people don't know what makes them happy. Not everyone gets happy from helping people, and not everyone wants that to be their life purpose. In fact, almost no one actually wants that to be their life purpose. So don't use me as an example of what you want to do with your life, because to be honest, it's not an easy life. You get used, you don't live a very high quality life. It's not easy, you know, you understand?
Yeah.
People out there can have different reasons for living. It could be having good family, it could be having good friends, it could be having good emotion and experiences. It could be you just want to live a good life for yourself, your family, and your future family. These are all really reasonable goals. But for me, you need to choose, because I'm hearing you say a lot of things. You need to choose. Do you want money? Do you want to make an impact in the world? Like, what do you actually want to do with your life? Like, sit down and actually ask yourself and think about it, you know?
Okay.
If you don't see yourself doing cybersecurity in 10 years, and you don't see yourself using cybersecurity as a method of making money to do things that you love, for me, this is a waste of time. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course.
For me, it didn't matter if you did psychology or law school or computer science. If it was a pathway to do something you were really passionate about. Someone that I talk about frequently in this channel is a guy called Yummy Guy. Who knows Yummy Guy? His name is Fred.
Yeah.
His name is Fred. Coreano maluco, safado. He's younger than me. He went to the army. He was an officer. He dropped everything because he had a passion to work as a streamer. So he used going to the military as a pathway, and he saved tens of thousands of dollars, and now he's just living on savings, losing money streaming. And for me, I have so much respect for that, because it's chasing after your dream, you know? And the time to do that is in your 20s, when you don't have kids, when you're not fucked by life, when you're not scared of everything, when you're not scared of fucking over your family because not everyone has the privilege to do that, but it doesn't seem like that your father and your mother rely on you to live, right? You're already really ahead that way. Do you know how many people in the chat right now have to work because their father or their mother depends on their paycheck?
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that have to start working in Brazil from 13, 14 years old, right? But you need to choose. So tell me a little bit about what you want to be doing. What are your passions?
What was in my mind, like, for a lot of time, I want to have an impact in the world. You know, I want to change it in some way. I don't know which way I want to change it, but I always had a wish of helping people who needs any kind of care, you know, like psychological care. In my mind, I had to get into this phase, I need to do something to get a lot of money, so that way I can help people without struggling, you know.
For me, what it sounds like is immaturity.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you, Kawan. For me, it sounds like immaturity, because if you had a clear vision on what you wanted to do, you would just stick by something, do it, and then you'd find out what you want to be doing. Find out how to do it in the right way, and find solutions. So for example, you said you wanted to make an impact on the world. How do you want to make an impact on the world? What do you want to make an impact in the world with, and why are you passionate about it? You clearly haven't given it enough thought.
Yes.
You just like the idea of, oh, it sounds cool for people to look up to me, for me to have left a mark in the world. Anyone can say that, but you haven't made a clear plan on how to do it. So for example, for me, I have a plan for what I want to do until I'm 50, 60 years old.
Wow.
Right? I want to do coaching. I want to start my business. I want to operate a successful business. I want to have 10 years, 20 more years of life experience. And when I'm in my 40s, I want to run for politics. I want to run as a politician, but with my money. So I don't have to rely on other people. And I want to do that because I want people to not live the type of life that I had. Not have to worry about being hungry or having electricity because you haven't paid your bill. Or being homeless. I want to avoid that, right?
Yes.
But what you're telling me is just I don't really know what I want to do. I like helping people. It's kind of cool. Psychology is kind of cool. Sounds like you're in love with the idea of law school. You're in love with the idea of looking cool as a lawyer. You're in love with the idea of being a psychologist and helping people. You're in love with the idea of being a computer science major. You're in love with the idea of being a cybersecurity hack expert because you watched a movie somewhere. But you don't have a clear plan and you haven't thought things through and you haven't realized the impact that you've had as an individual by being so indecisive and immature, because you're using your father's money, you're using your time towards a vision that hasn't been thought through. So my advice to you is like quite simple. First of all, when you looked at cybersecurity, you should know that cybersecurity is probably one of the worst IT fields to make money,
definitely.
because the high income earners, and someone said this in the chat as well, the high income earners in IT are full stack developers. The whole idea of the way that you've developed your life and lived your life, like I just see a young kid full of emotion, full of hope, full of ambition, but zero actual drive. So you need to have a long, hard look at yourself and you need to sit down and realize, what the fuck have I just done with my life in the last 4 years? I quit law school because I didn't like the state. I quit psychology because I had money issues and I CBA doing it again. And I'm doing cybersecurity and I don't know if I'll do it in 10 years and I don't know what I'll do next. The first thing you need to do, as I said, is like, okay, make an immediate plan and make a long-term plan. What kind of life do you want to live? I want a life, short or long, where I lived my life the way that I wanted to. This is just me, right? I want to live a life where I can impact people so people didn't have to live the way that I do, and I find meaning and purpose from that. I want to live a life where if I'm 50 or 60 years old, I look back on my life and I say, I don't regret a single thing that I did. That's my life though, not your life. And let me tell you something. You watched the MD3 podcast and you said that my life is unique. It's not. Yes. It's because you're a frog in a well. Have you heard of the term frog in a well?
Yeah.
So for those of you guys in Twitter that don't understand, it's a saying from China where the frog believes he's the king of the pond of the well, because he only sees the world from the well. But the moment he leaves the well, he realizes how big the world is. Let me tell you something. As you age and as you mature, what you'll realize is my story is nothing. My story is so common. There's 600 people watching for now, and I guarantee you, like almost 1/3 of them grew up with divorced parents, no father or no mother, dealt with some sort of poverty in one way, shape or form. A lot of people are going to have to support their parents or their sister or their sibling or their mother. It's common sense. What I realized very early on is I don't have the time to pity myself, and that my story is not unique. But what's going to set me aside and what's going to set you aside, Kwan, in your life is you need to approach life with the mindset that you're in charge of it, that you can change your life the way that you want to if you have the drive, the energy and the focus. But you need to have a clear plan and a vision. So for those of you guys struggling with money, why don't you work more? And why don't you work smarter and find other ways to make money? I know that you had it easy when you say that you just taught some people essays and that's how you save money, right? But you probably kissed some girls, went to nightclubs, had a good time. If you really had focus, you would have worked other jobs and you would have saved more money so you didn't have to drop out of school. So you need to just choose what you want to do with your life and realize that life is not easy. And everyone out there has a story of their own. Make sense?
Yes, that's perfectly.
Well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Best of luck. Best of luck with your life, okay?
Bye-bye.
Okay, ciao.